Hi, this is Jason from Sweaty Heroes Comic Bargains, and I'm going to talk to you today about some stuff I found at Dollarama and some stuff I found at Paper Heroes in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. So first, at Dollarama in Canada, we have these $2 books, and some people have seen them at other places, but they're reprints of DC Comics, and they're 24 pages instead of 32 pages, so they're a little bit thinner. The cover price is $3.99 US, which is like $5.25 at the moment in Canada, but reprinting more recent DC stories. In this case, DC's Rebirth, which brought back the post-crisis DC Superman after the whole New 52 thing that happened. And this was a really great series, and it was really, I really liked when Superman Rebirth happened and how they restored Lois and Clark's marriage and Superman's marriage. It was kind of like the opposite of what happened with Spider-Man and Mary Jane, where they just erased that marriage. This was like them returning the marriage to get and they did a clever way of doing that. But this is a lot of fun, and of course it brings Superman and Lois having a son, who in this storyline. This is Supergirl Man of Tomorrow, which this is the first issue, and I never had read this before, so I did read it, and they're using this story to base the 2026 Supergirl film on. So Supergirl. So this was a well drawn and an interesting take on Supergirl. Very leaning into the fantasy, I thought, of Supergirl. So those are the Dollarama stories. And then here's the $5 books, some dollar books, and we got. I love it when I find a Spider-Man for $1. So this is Web of Spider-Man number 12, and I might keep this time. I've been collecting Amazing Spider-Man, but in terms of Web and Spectacular, I was going to do later. I might keep this one because I am a Spider-Man fan, and I've probably had this copy at least twice before. I figure once you get the third time, keep it. You're going to get same thing with movies, DVDs. If I've had the DVD more than 3 times, then I'm like, okay, maybe I should keep that DVD instead of getting rid of it. So, anyways, this is Mary Jane as black costume Spider-Man. That's not the alien costume. This is black costume. Really a lot of fun. And so, let's see here. Peter David and Sal Buscema doing some breakdowns on the artwork, who did a long run in Spectacular. And then we have Mark Spector Moon Knight, which I cannot see myself for the life of me putting this under MARC. I would put it under Moon Knight when I go file it away at the Vintage and Vinyl Amherstburg, where these dollar books are going. But this has a lot of ties to a later storyline that Amazing Spider-Man had, called Round Robin, drawn by Mark Bagley, which tied up loose ends from these storylines involving the Punisher and Moon Knight and his sidekick, Midnight. So this was a lot of fun. I like the eyes on Spider-Man, and Moon Knight's a character I've always wanted to look into more. And but I read this issue and I really enjoyed it. A lot of fun. I haven't read these yet, but I did read Xenobreed number 0. I had bought that and showed you in a previous video that I was expecting it to be like DC kind of ripping off the X-Men, and instead of ripping off the X-Men, it was more like this guy who found some alien beings who would fulfill his wish fulfillment of being the superheroes. So it was kind of a very fresh, new take. And so this was number 0. Unfortunately, I don't have a number 1, but I managed to find 2 and 3 and number 4. As well, I was able to find... and so those are Xenobreed, and I look forward, and Superman was appearing in them. And it was just a minor series that probably most of you have never heard of. So let's just look at that again with 2, number 3, and number 4. And then finally, we have one of my favorite books, JLA Paradise Lost. Again, this is a comic book I've had at least 2 or 3 times. And that is Blue Superman when he had the electric costume. Kind of fun, but it's and that's Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern over there. And this was a lot of fun. It did introduce Aquaman into the kind of what we know now a lot more with the kind of pirate beard look and all that. This was a lot of fun. So in JLA number 6 and 7 by Grant Morrison, they introduce Zoriel. This guy here, he is literally an angel from heaven, and he's from the Eagle host of heaven, from one of the four hosts of heaven. And in this storyline, he is fighting Asmodel, who is from the Bull host of heaven, who kind of wants to succeed where Lucifer failed. A lot of cool stuff. For me as a Christian, I really enjoyed this comic book in terms of having Zoriel being a Christian hero and talk about the presence and talk about God. Uh, and it was a lot of fun, and I highly recommend this storyline. So those are those comics, and we'll take care, and we'll have more Sweaty Hero Comic Bargains. Bye.